It is now 6:30, April 28th, 2015, and we call this special board meeting to order. Determination, and we have a quorum. Dr. Norberto Cantú, present. Mr. Eduardo Ramirez, present. Ms. Judith Flores,
present.
Mr. Benito Sainz, present. Mr. Ruben Klein, present. And myself, Daniel Garcia, am present as well. We do have a quorum. The Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Solis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1, consider and take possible action on district logos.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, superintendent, all present tonight. On item 1, we respectfully ask for your approval of district logos. As you see in your passouts, we have obviously our district emblem. This is a traditional emblem, not much change to it. As you see, it's just the torch has been a little defined, a little more detail to it, keeping that tradition that we've had for several years. And obviously the snake been removed from the torch, that being because we have two high schools. So that'd be the district logo. As you turn to page 5, you see Rattler. This is, we're trying to bring real consistency to our high school, where we have, a uniform logo, and we are going to bring it in a phase. We're going to phase it out. We're not going to force anybody to do anything drastic, but it's just trying to phase it out so we can keep consistency. And obviously on the next page you see our gator. Obviously the same concept here, so we can, be uniform, consistent, and that would be phased out also. So on this item, we respectfully ask for your approval.
Do you have any more questions?
Just wondering, how much input did you get from the schools?
Well, we've been going back and forth and discussing the logo with the superintendent committees here at central office. As far as how much input from the schools, I have not got any input from the schools. Yes, sir.
It was mostly the coaching staff that we had with regards to the snake and the gator, and because of the fact that it's going to be utilized for sports.
Only
Mostly for the sports, the rat and the gator. I know they wanted some consistency and uniformity with regards to having the two mascots, because at this time we have many versions of the rat and the gator, and it was for purpose of consistency. But if it be the wish of the board, we can go back and poll some of our students and staff members and more individuals, so we can just have more input with regards to this. If you the wish of the board at this time, we can do that. I know that the first one, like Dr. Sainz mentioned, we have the traditional logo that we have for RGCCISD, and just so I can point out the change there is a little more detail to the torch as opposed to the one in the past, and just to make the color brighter, it was a very, very minimal change that was made to the logo, and we did it purposely so we could keep the tradition of RGCCISD. So that the other two would be something that we could look at if you all would like us to go back and just have a little more input. We have no problem with doing so. It would be the wish of the board at this time.
Previous logos, how were they?
Very different versions. The last ones we had were pretty much, we kept the concept of the R and the G, and as you saw, the snake wrapped around the R, and the gator, pretty much the tail wrapped around the G. And I remember that when the gator, when I presented to the board here, I was principal at that time at Korea High School, and it was something just to have some type of uniformity with the Rattler logo at that time. But I know that there have been people that have voiced concern, and I know many of the employees with the coaching, many of the coaching staff members have suggested the change.
I know as far as the Rattler logo, I believe the football, baseball, and basketball team, they're already using this current logo. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Rio Grande City. Yes, sir.
Rio Grande City has used this one quite a bit. Yes, sir. That's correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the Korea gator we had is the copyright list of these?
Yes, that is correct. We had the first year that we was I guess the first year on the onset of the school, there was a version that was very similar to the Florida Gators. And so the second year that Gruya was enforced, we made a recommendation to change it. And at that time, we did bring it to the board. There was a change and approval by the board to go with that other one, being that it was very similar to the Florida Gator.
I guess I'm just wanting to make sure that everybody accepts it and uses it. Otherwise, they'll continue using their own. If this is going to be official, and if they had some input for us, from both.
I think that's a good idea, Mr. Sainz. That's something that we certainly can take a look at, and would you recommend then, if we do not make or if the board does not go with approval today, that we come up with other versions, and a little bit more input from other stakeholders?
Well, I think if Mr. Sainz is concerned, and I know you're very proud of being a Gator, Wilmer, I think that we could definitely table it and get some input maybe from the SPDMs or
Sure.
something. I have no problem with that. Mr. Sainz is, we'd like to see, especially because you said their record's pretty similar to what we already have, but if the Gator's going to change significantly.
Let me share real quick.
Sure, please, sir.
When La Jolla went from one high school to three high schools, I was in charge of the logo, the mascot, the school colors, the fight song, the alma mater for all the three schools, and we went to the students and presented to the board, and the board said, how much input did the students have? And at the time, I couldn't answer it. I'd say very comprehensive. And so they said, no, you got to go back and make sure that to buy acceptance to it or into it. And so we went back another month or so, but we got the input that we needed, and then we presented to the board and they accepted it. That's the reason I'm asking, because I know.
And I think that would be a good mascot, because as far as the torch, I mean, I'm good with that. It's very similar to what we have.
They're similar, yes.
We just want to make it uniform for everyone to use the same one, so I have no problem with that. But as far as the mascots, since it's a big sports oriented issue, I don't know if we're taking it. See if we get more.
Mr. Garcia?
I'm with you.
Dr. Gandu,
I personally like them, but it's a good idea to get some more input. That's fine with me.
you're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Rumi, thank you.
Not only that, maybe some of the students can provide their own, or I don't know. I mean, have fun with other options. See, they make sure these are the best ones, and maybe just get a survey or something out and see which one they like the best. Something to think about.
Yeah, we can go back without a problem. We certainly can go back and show them what we have as perhaps a starting point. I'm glad we had this discussion. And of course, being that we have different stakeholders within our district, I am happy with regards to going back and providing some options for our students and staff members and everyone to have some input. That way we come together next time, we're ready to present to our board for approval, and we'll have something that we create that sense of ownership, which I feel is a very, very good suggestion, and I can now, I'm for that, if that's the wish of the board.
I agree. So this time, Mr. Garcia, I'm going to move that we table this item for further discussion and consultation.
Do we have a second? No. We have a second by Mr. Sainz. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Same sign, motion carries. It is now 6:38. We'll be entering a closed session under the authority of the Texas Government Code.
Sorry, just for clarification. Was your motion to table all three or just like
I would say just the mascot.
so would it be approving the
We can approve the torch, which is our traditional logo, and let's go ahead and table as part of this, the Rattler and the Gator.
okay, so that's motion
A partial motion. And I guess we can just take the whole thing, and then if we don't.
okay, so that first
But
motion
only,
still
as far as
stands.
purposes of consultation, just on the actual mascots.
Okay, so we don't have to make another one.
For clarification, thank you very much. That way we all understand.
Now 6:38. We're now be going into closed session under the authority of the Texas Government Code Section 551.071. It is now 8:28. We are reconvening in open session. Do I have a motion on possible, or do I have a motion on item 8?
I move that we deny.
Do we have a second on item 8?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. Cantu. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? She made a motion. And we have Mr. Ruben Klein is abstaining. Motion carries by a vote of 4-0. And we have a motion on item B.
On item B, I move that we take no action at this time.
Do we have a second on item B? We have a second by Mr. Klein. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. We have a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.